Welcome to my show, the Niina Live Show. Ooh. Welcome to my show, the Niina Live Show. Ooh. Welcome to my show, the Niina Live Show. Welcome to my show, the Niina Live Show. Ooh. Welcome to my show, the Niina Live Show. Ooh. Welcome to my show.
Hello and welcome to yet another Niina Kabesa live show. We are in the month of April. So we did say in the month of April, we're going to be talking about family affairs. Last week we talked about fatherhood, which kicked it off with my very own guest, Smokey978, who is the most amazing father. And then today we're going to kick the topic chat with motherhood. Now, as we kick the topic chats with motherhood today, I will have a guest who isn't a mother yet, but happens to be a daughter of mine. See, sometimes when we talk about motherhood, it always is good, to have them on board and ask them question about how they think I am as a mother. And then we'll see how it is. I never gave her the question before. It's not script. It is going to be live as we are live today. So, motherhood. Where can I start today? Motherhood is more than just giving birth to a child. That's the first topic. So if you're listening to me and you want to write these things down, write it down, okay? Because I tend to speak quite fast and quite quick, so you have to bear with me. So, motherhood. Motherhood, like I said, number one, is not just having a child, okay? So everybody's taking notes. I'm taking notes as well as I'm writing. So it's not just having a child. Number two, motherhood. It's more than just, how can I say? Maybe having a husband, because some people think that having a husband makes him like a mother-ish, like, because I've heard it being said before that, your husband is like your children and your husband is your bigger child. I don't really agree on that one, but that one will come as a different topic. So motherhood has nothing to do, not affiliation to do with you being married or not married. That's number two. And finally, number three, motherhood, it is actually not what you think it is. What do I mean by that? Basically, we've heard and we've seen so many description of who a mother is. Being if they call you a mom, it means that you have a child or two, or you've adopted a child or two, or you have stepchildren or whatever, whatnot. That's it. That's another way that they call people mothers. If they call you a mom, then you probably have a child of your own birth, biological, or in the means of marrying somebody who already had kids, or whatever means it is. Again, a similar. Or if they call you a mother, is because, i.e., you're running a project like Mother Teresa, running a project of raising other people, orphans and things like that, and they call it all to do with mother. Now, I want to give you a different perspective, because this is what the Niina Kabesa live show is about. I bring you a total different perspective of what you've heard, and then I give it to you based on what I have seen and observed in the 40 years of me being alive in the planet Earth. Now, motherhood, this is a description according to me. Motherhood is how can I say, the embodiment, the total, embodiment of who is a woman. It has nothing about whether you can give birth to children, whether you are raising children, it has everything to do with who you know about you, the woman. Because you see, if you don't know you don't take care of yourself, you don't, do everything that you want to give another external person, if you've not done it to yourself, So you can have 10 kids all you like, but if what you are giving to those children, you haven't implemented it, you have not put it into yourself, then motherhood is not really who I will classify you as. Even though you have biological children, if what you give into your children, you have not applied it to yourself, I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, you're not yet a mother. Because for me to being a mother, to qualify for that titlement of being a mother, is having raised yourself up, having done everything that you're doing with your kids to yourself. So my question now to you is, you take care of your kids, you take care of other people's kids, you take care of orphans, that's all good, but do you take care of yourself? Because you cannot give others what you have not given to yourself. So if you want to tell me that you are a mother based on the fact that you have children, and based on the fact that you're raising those children very well, I'm also gonna look at you and see how well you are, because those children can only be a reflection of who you are. So if they cannot reflect in education wise, in talents wise, in everything, if those kids are not reflecting the very person that you are, then I'm sorry to say, you are just doing a job of raising those kids. You are not a mother, because a mother multiplies, which means she takes from what she has done inside of her and then multiplies it into other people. Remember, I said multiply, I did not say addition. There's a difference, because you can add something, you can add value to somebody's life and everything, but then afterward value can also decrease or increase. But a multiplication is more than just added value. A multiplication is it spread, it goes, it's more than just one being added. So that's what it is to me. So what is motherhood according to the Niina Kabesa live show? So according to Niina Kabesa, motherhood is a person who have well taken care of themselves, who have groomed, who have done every possible things that they could possibly do to themselves, and have taken that and multiplied it and shared it to external people. So that's who is motherhood according to me. So you may agree, you may disagree, but that's just by observation what I've seen. Because I myself, I told you, I have children, 5 amazing children, okay? And I see each and every one of them. When I look at them, I see me. Now, are you able to see yourself when you look at your children? I see my children, I see myself. Why? I see the character of who I am. I see, they've all sort of like embodied different part of me. Now, how am I able to see that? Because I took the time to find myself, to know myself, and finally understand who I am. And this is the reason why. So that's the news. That's the terminology of motherhood to me. A motherhood is a woman. It's a woman who has totally, I call it a whole woman, WHOLE, a whole woman, a woman who have finally know who she is and everything there. She's basically a whole. She's complete, she's full. There's no addition to her. There's nothing you can take out or bring. She's just an embodiment of herself. She basically knows everything there is about herself. She knows her weaknesses, she knows her strength, she knows her advantage, she knows her disadvantage, she knows everything about her. And because she knows everything about her, it becomes easier to move in the society. It becomes easier in raising children because she sees herself in everything she touches, in everything she does. Why? Because she's complete. And this is the state of mind that a motherhood is. Remember, I'm talking about family affair. We started with fatherhood, and I'm just explaining to you guys who motherhood is. And who best to describe, because I can only talk about myself, because for me to talk about another person, I will need permission. But there are women like myself out there, one lady that I know, she's exactly like me, she thinks like me, and she deals with her family structure. When I mean family structure, it's the children's structure, exactly how I've just described it to you. She's taking time to knowing herself. She's taking time to fully, embrace who she is as a woman. And then what happened when she started having kids? The kids just come into her life and embraces that and find the way through. So that's motherhood. So a mother, it's somebody who sets standard of living to the children and the people that's coming into their life. A mother is a person who walks in a distinguished way, who walks different to every other person. You see, when you become to see yourself as a mother, as somebody who know yourself, everybody will know, you can't bring this silly advice or stupid things to this particular person because this is how they are. You see, people will respect you. Like me, for instance, everywhere I go, everybody knows I'm all about Jesus. I'm all about God. I'm sold out to God. So even those who aren't Christian know that when it comes to Niina, this is the way she is. So people begin to speak to me and conversate with me according to how I carried myself and how I have projected myself to them. So these are people, they could be swearing and everything, but the moment I am in that space, in their space, there will be no more swearing. There'll be no more things. And even if they do, they'll be like, oh, you know what, sorry to me, because they know what I'm about. And I'll be like, no, it's cool, it's fine. So they know what I'm about. So what that also does is when you be the type of woman who knows herself like that, who becomes to be a mother like that, then your motherhood has nothing to do with your children. Your motherhood actually has everything to do with changing the world and your circumstances around you. So what you find is, instead of you know, demanding people to look at you by how you dress, you can be fully dressed, covered up, jacket up and things, and you will still be able to command people to look at you. You see, a mother commands respect, commands things, does not demand things. Mother don't need to demand anything from her children. A mother commands the children on what she wants. And there are ways that you do it when you fully have become one with yourself and you are whole and you understand who you are as a vessel called woman. Now, on to the next one. So we've discovered that motherhood, we say a mother, you know, command in everything she does, she commands and she does not demand. And a mother is simply a woman who's whole to herself and got nothing to do with you having children. You see, you having children does not mean that you are a mother. Because especially us here in Europe where we live, you know, our children really don't belong to us. If you knew your law, you'll understand. The moment they are born and the moment you register them at the register, they actually belong to the government. This is why whenever anything happens in your house, they come in and they take the kids and they go. Yeah, so children has nothing to do with you being a motherhood, but a motherhood is actually has everything to do with this vessel we're calling woman vessel. So it has everything to do with you. You don't have to have children, but you can still walk around with the motherhood aspect in you, because a motherhood, it's somebody who sees beyond just what's in front of her. It's somebody who can see past so many things. This is the reason why when some people mention, when they talk about referring to the world, what do they say? Mother Nature. Now ask yourself, why do they say Mother Nature? Because there is something about a woman who is automatically carries the identity of motherhood, because a woman is the person to multiply. It's something that is in them, but the multiplication has nothing to do with children, but yet everything to do with you as an individual. Once you discover yourself and you become into the core and you are one with yourself and you are whole, and when I mean whole, your body, your mind, your spirit are all entwined with each other, then you have become to be a mother, because you now start to command things to come to you, draw to you. You're no longer demanding. So you could be sitting anywhere, you would just find people start looking at you and you're wondering, you're not doing anything, you're not starting a conversation, but people are just looking at you. And the reason why they're looking at you is because the way you are, how you're presenting yourself, the aura that's oozing out of you is commanding to be stirred up, because you're one with yourself. And that is who, and a woman like that, when they have children, you look at the kids and I guarantee you, you will see that the kids reflect everything that woman is. And that is what we call multiplication, because that woman can now physically go and die, but the children will be, every time people will say, oh, they speak like her, they talk like her, they think, even as far as thinking like her. Now that is motherhood. So now my question to you, if you're a woman and you're looking at me and you're thinking, I don't agree with you, Nina, and I have children, but my question to you, can you look at all your children where you are today? And can you see them all having a bit of you in them? And if you can see them having a bit of you inside, and ask yourself, is it the negative side or the positive side? And why do you think that is? Because don't forget, sometimes children pick habits that we have, and then they'll turn it. So we don't, I'm not talking about the habit that they pick of you. I'm talking about the real you, the inside of you, the you that you are when nobody is looking. That's the who I'm talking about. So that's what I wanted to tell you guys today. So that's a small little intro. Today's show is a very interesting show because it's family affair. And when we say family affair, we have to have family. So as I'm speaking, my daughter is somewhere here listening. We're going to call her to come up, but we're going to call her to come on up in the next 5 minutes. But before we do that, I would like to talk about a few other things that's happening. Amazing thing that's happened. Do you remember through the rest of the shows, I was talking about how I'm going to start my very own non-for-profit organization called MON, which stands for Mother of Nations. Well, good news today, it is up and running. And we are starting with all our projects, and obviously the Niina Kabesa live show is also one of the projects under the umbrella of Mother of Nations. And then we have the BADMA, which is now open for nomination. BADMA stands for Blessed Able Male Awards, which is going on right now for nominations. So if you want to know more information about the Blessed Able Male Award, please email me, and then we're going to send you the link where you can nominate people. We're looking to recognize 100 male from the age of 8 years old. Now, the concept behind that, I've just explained to you who a mother is and what a motherhood is. And this organization that I've got is called Mother of Nation. Now, why I set up this organization is because I've come to the place where I now know that I'm now ready to start impacting and, teaching other people and showing people the way of doing things. Now, I'm starting with the Mel Award because there is something that I've been observing throughout the years I've lived. For the last 20 years, I've been observing, something, how males are being projected a little bit wrong. But, I totally understand that. But there's also a lot of things which came to mind, and I thought a male award is something that's really important because we catch this male from the age of 8 and they're doing positively. Those who are under the age of 21, we want to encourage them to keep doing the positive things they're doing. And then those who are already older and doing it, we still want to encourage them now to also teach and support the younger ones to keep doing the positivity. Because you see, whether people want to hear this or not, I'm gonna say it. When a guy, when an adult male does something wrong, you must understand he once was a child male who never had direction. Okay, so the lack of direction when they're young makes them to do anything they want when they get older. So in the end, who do you think is to blame for it? A mother. Have you ever seen that? When something goes wrong to the kids, they always come to the mother. It's the mother's fault. If everything goes well and everything they say is the father. Well, here I want to tell you, if anything goes right, anything goes wrong, it still falls down to the mother. Why is that? What I've just explained to you earlier on, who a mother is. You need to be complete within yourself in order for you to see that child also as a project, as an assignment, as an individual that you need to raise to be in a perfect state of mind, in a positive way that you're gonna now bring back out to the earth. Let me tell you something about pregnancy. The physical pregnancy that we have, when it comes to the contraction, it has 3 different stages. We have the early stage, the second stage, and then the third stage is the pushing stage. Now, if you look at your children as that as well, once the child is out in this world, there are stages they go through. Okay, we have the under teen, then you have the teens, and then you have the 20s. So you have to work at it and tell yourself, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I want him to be out there. How you project yourself, how you carry yourself is how that child will end up being out there, irrespective of who teaches them, whether they end up in a church or a place or anything. Yes, I've heard of stories that some people have changed. They went into like social, what do they call them? I think it's like a social people, where they put them in social houses, they take them away from their house and care home and whatever it is. I'm being told care homes or care home and things, and then things turns out to them, and God does it for them. Well, that is really great. God is true. That is true. That I'll tell you. Getting your children to get born again and coming into the Lord is a good thing to do, because it renews the spirit in them. Which spirit? The human spirit that they have in them. So it renews them. So in the way, God then can start intervening if you do it that way. But irrespective of that, you still also have to know that you need to start them from when they're even in your stomach. Very important. From the moment they are in here, that's when you need to start. And you need to start talking to them. You need to start letting them, you need to start imagining already this child when it comes out. This is how they're going to be. It's not magic. It's not voodoo. It's not anything. If there's anything, it is focusing. It is calling forth things that you've not yet seen, as though there were things that you've seen. Like my eldest daughter, I knew she would be a writer, I knew she would be a singer, I knew she would be a model before even I carried her out. I didn't even know she was going to end up being that tall, because I'm not that tall. Neither is his father. So how she ended up being tall, only God knows. Could be how I was imagining. So there's a lot of things I want to open up and talk to you guys about life. I just want to change the perspective of how you've always known and how you've always thought. I want to change that. I want to give you a different way of thinking, because those different way of thinking, my brothers, my sisters, it did help me, and it's gonna help you a lot, because you become at peace with yourself. You understand that your children being here are not just for you, they are actually there for others. They are actually there so that they can be and touch somebody else's life. So that is very important. So that's enough of me talking, okay, right now. So I would like to carry on my conversation with the 16-year-old author, model, and singer by the name of Nicole Hines. And before I can call it up, I would just like to play one of my songs. If you could just help me to play one of my songs, that would be great, so that I can get my guests to get ready to come on. Thank you very much. So, hello,
Hi.
and welcome back. And this is my guest, Nicole Hines, the young author, model, and a singer. So, Nicole, the reason why I got you here, obviously, is, are you sitting comfortable? Are you okay?
Yep.
You're comfortable? Your
I'm
face?
excellent.
Okay. So, I want you to just please, if you look at the camera there, and just tell people who you are. Maybe I did not introduce you well. You could tell yourself a bit more of what you do. And you tell me, you introduce yourself first, and then I'll ask the question after.
Right, so hello, my name is Nicole Hines, which is the name that I am authored on under this book here. I am, yes, a singer, author, writer, but as well as that, I am also a YouTuber and a speaker who is really passionate about things such as young people and mental health, discrimination, and poetry slash spoken word.
Wow, thank you. I like that. So you say you're very passionate about young people.
Yes.
In which area you said again?
Mental health.
Mental health. And why the area of mental health?
Because mental health generally is more than just something that goes on in the brain, as people say. Like, it's something unseen, which, if not treated like at the roots, it could cause detrimental effects, such as multiple suicides, increasing amount of depression, and like more overdoses and things of the sort. And I also believe that bad mental health does, in most cases, most scenarios, start at a much younger age due to the traumas of life and things like that, and the elements that a young child goes through during the early stages of their life. And I think mental health in young people is extremely important to me, not only because I've gone through the depression, the multiple suicide attempts, the overdoses and things like that, but I think it's something that's not talked about. It's something that to this day still young people kind of shy off or turn away from. Like, even though the media are now getting to grips on like, oh hey, mental health's important, I think in young people, like, we just need that extra push to actually get people aware, and for it to not be something that people can just randomly joke around about, because it is something that does have an impact on a young person's life that can go throughout the rest of the person's life.
That's amazing. I mean, what you're just saying, for as a child, obviously, I think it falls perfectly with the motherhood. And this is what I was trying to say earlier on about motherhood. You know, if a mother isn't fully whole within themselves, and if a mother hasn't figured everything out through themselves, it's going to be very challenging to assist or even help your child when they're going through this depression. Because remember, I've always said that if a child is going through a challenge, it's not always that it starts at home. At home, you could be 100% perfect, but you have to understand the moment they enter the bus and they go to school and they go to all those other activities, they are now also exposed to other people's children. And other people's children may not be educated, may not be catered for and taken care of as you are doing it to your children. So when all these things happen, if you are not whole and complete within yourself, you will not be able to assist your children when these things happen. And then slowly but steady, they will start to understand. Because you have a good heart doesn't mean that everybody has a good heart.
Wait, sorry, can I just interrupt there?
Yeah.
So I think one thing that you mentioned, Mum, is like the wholeness of a mother.
Nina, this is the show.
Okay.
This is business. No mum on the show, thank you.
So, based on what Nina said, I just want to quickly mention something about the wholeness of a mother.
Yeah.
Now, the wholeness of a mother can only happen when you first fix together the broken pieces. Like, if you've had any before giving birth. So, I say this because unless you are whole, you cannot raise up children in a wholesome way for them to be whole in the future, and like, you know, the Lord allows it for them to be future parents, mothers and fathers. Because if you think that you can fix other people but you yourself are not fixed, then no matter how much you try and help them out, no matter how well you raise the children, no matter how many treats and gifts and clothes that you get them, whether they're super duper cooper expensive, like, they're going to grow up feeling more or less abandoned. They're going to grow up always wanting that instant gratification.
So there will be a void, irrespective of anything in there. There's something you said which I really kind of like. You said, unless you are whole, you cannot raise awesome children. And I think that's you've heard it here first. You know, Niina Life Show always brings you this caption, very amazing captions. You take this one down from the 16-year-old. It says, unless you are whole, you cannot raise awesome children. Now that's what she said. And there's something as well that you said about the earlier stages. I want to touch about motherhood, because you're saying quite very important things. See, it's very important that we listen, you know, and what our kids are saying, because they are the one who are walking on a daily basis with the peers. and they know what the friends are saying about the mothers, the fathers. So it is very important. I think you guys sometime, the best thing I think that you guys have ever done or said to me is when you guys come home and you start realizing and saying, oh, you know what, you're actually a good mom. And I was thinking, why is that? And I think you mentioned because some of your friends, the way I talk to you guys and the way I do things, apparently, tell me a bit about those things,
No,
without
like,
naming names. Yeah.
I think this was about a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, I wasn't exactly hanging out with the right friends at the time as I am now. But back then, like, most of the people that I was hanging out with, the way that their parents would speak to them and the way that, like, they get punished, it's like,
How is the way? Maybe I should learn a thing or two from those parents because, I
like,
think I'm too soft on you guys, but go on.
no, but every now and then, like, I hear all these stories about, like, parents with the pans and things, and as well as that, getting, like, kicked out of the house, literally, just like, oh, you can't go back in there. If it's, like, little small things, such as not getting home on time, or, because obviously some of my friends were, like, smoking weed, doing drugs at the time as well, so there was stuff like that going on.
Young.
But as well as that, like, I'm hearing things like the parents always having friction with them, so they're always fighting, whether it's verbal or physical.
Parents
and it just
fighting.
gets like that. And as well as that, there's this particular person who's got some older siblings, and they're kind of like in the whole drug business sort of thing as well.
Wow.
And I heard something like really particular one day. It's not something that I want to like share on live, but after hearing that, I got home, and like before even telling Nina what happened, I was just like, I closed my eyes. I was just like, Lord, thank you for raising up such a mother. Because in these times,
Hallelujah.
boy, parents, again, if you are not whole, you cannot raise awesome children. Neither can you raise children that will actually aspire or dream to be whatever they want to be. But man, it's just
Wow, that's quite important. And you say something about parent fighting. Now, I want to ask you a question. I know we didn't plan this. I did not give you a question for a reason, because I don't want my viewers to think that I am preparing her. You see, my show is very authentic because it is what it is. It's about truth and honesty. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm a perfect parent, but one thing I do know, that when it comes to discipline, I'm number one in discipline. Now, there's something I want to ask you for the benefit of the television, so let them hear it, because you happen to be my daughter, but not just my daughter, but also my firstborn. Now, I want to know, do I demand things from you guys, or do I command things from you guys?
Ooh. Demand and command. The only difference is the first letter.
Okay.
I believe that you do command.
I do command.
Yes, you don't demand, as in the sense that you don't forcefully like tell us to do stuff.
Okay, because I would have said the same too, because I know sometimes they have this habit of walking into me when I'm working, and they will stand there and they will say, and I'll give an answer, and that's it. And then I have a boy and now a girl, by the look of it, the other sisters following the brother, who will not let you go. And they will want to come, and they will come back, and then it will come back, and it will keep coming back. And you know what? I don't speak. I've said it. You can cry. You can say what you want to say. You can, shimmy, or you like. I've already said it. And that will be it. And that's how I am. So that is, it's not demanding. That's commanding. See, you already sticking to what you say and put your foot down, and that is it. So they can say, and believe me, there are times they do things you just want to say, but you know what? I really don't care, because until they are 18, for the moment they're not 18, I am the parent. I am the responsible person, because if anything happened out there, with the busy schedule that I have with my books and reading my Bible and things, I don't want to be called to go out and pick somebody because they did not listen to me. No, so I do my part. So I command. And it's very important. A lot of you parents are so afraid because you think, oh, in this country, you can't tell your children what you can't tell your children what? Well, if you can't tell your child what you want them to do, then my question is that maybe from a very younger age you were not training them properly, because everything that my children are living to date started from a very younger age. I never take them out all the time. They never used to go out all the time in people's house to play all the time. So as they're growing, they're still not gonna adapt into that. Do you understand? So you have to look at how you raise them from when they're young, because whatever you put in a young child, like my 2-year-old now, everything is now sweet, sweet, sweet. She sleeps, she dreams of sweet. She wakes up, she dreams of sweet. You know, all those things. But I'm slowly molding her into removing, you know, so she's slowly being molded, and that's how it is. There's an allowance that you let them. You start when they are that young, and you are moving them in a way. So now she knows that, you know, sometimes she wake up, there will be no sweet for 1 week. And she'll be okay with it. So that's how you start, slowly and doing. You can't just give in to everything that they want, because you have to remember that little baby that's so cute, there's an end product. They will become an adult. And what kind of adult do you want them to be? Do you want them to be like the rapists, the knifers, all those people that's committing crime? Or do you want them to be people who are doing positive things in the community? There's always an end product in your child. Your child will not remain a child forever. So how you behaving, how you're taking them as a mother, like she said, if you're not whole, you're not gonna raise whole kids. And I'm so glad that I was able to raise them, her at least, because I'm still raising the others, because she's only 1 year before she's 18.
No, 2 years.
No, you're 17 this year, so it counts as though you already
But
are.
like,
It's
my
next
birthday's in
month.
2 months.
It's next month, because we already are in. We are in April right now.
Oh.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay,
So
my bad,
you are
guys.
already technically 17. So 1 more year before she's 18, and then they all decided to stay in my house after the 18. Even though I told them that's when I kick them out. That's when they do what they want. But if they choose to still stay in my house, they still have to abide in my rules. It's standard. It's just how it is. So that's one of the things that you said. Now, Nicole, I want to ask you. You touched down on mental health. Now, I want us to go a little bit deeper on mental health. I know you guys have an African mother, me, and I've not really. I wouldn't say that I've raised you guys in an African culture per se, but I've raised you as a British children, as you know, UK, but at the same time.
You've not abandoned the culture.
No, I've not abandoned the culture, but when we really think of it, I mean, guys, when we look at, I think it's just down to research. British life actually is a disciplined life. You know, when you study the monarch in itself, you get to understand the discipline that this nation really should be having, and it's nothing compared to what the media and what other people have turned it to be. So I would like to say, without sounding like too up to myself, that I've actually raised my children as royals with that same discipline, that same standard, how they dress. You know, they're not allowed to be walking around the street eating anyhow. Yeah, they're not allowed, and they know these things. When we're out and about, we wait until we reach somewhere, we sit down and we eat. Because I always tell them, do you see Prince Harry do that? Do you see Prince William do that? You know, these are the things. So I think it's very important, we who decide to move from one country to another, to learn and comprehend and understand, you know, the background of the nation where we are living, and not just trust the media with whatever they want to say, because media will always have an agenda with everything. So it's very, very important. So I'm grateful for that, because I think that did somewhat help you guys. But when it comes now to mental health, I mean, with the ordeal that you went through, I mean, you saw how many people were reacting to it. Some people were saying, oh, we should take you for some deliverance ministry for you to get delivered. You know, some people were saying that shouldn't take you to the hospital. I mean, with the decision that I made as an African, you know, parent, what do you think? Did it help you? And if it helped you, how else can you encourage another African parent who's living in the UK and just doesn't know what to do if they find themselves in that situation?
Okay, so first of all, before I actually answer the question,
Yeah.
to any African parent that's like hearing this, watching this right now, number one is, just because you are in the UK and you're expected to learn the customs and the democracy as well as the rules and regulations under this kingdom, that does not mean that you abandon your culture. That is something that I've clearly seen. Like, obviously, despite my British accent, like, don't look at me and say like, oh, this girl is not African. She is pure British. Like, I know my culture. I know where I come from. I don't have to speak the language.
Yes.
But I know the traditions. I eat the food. However, I don't let traditions rule over Christ. Okay, that is number one.
That's deep. That's deep.
Now, on to answering the question. You're gonna have to remind me.
So I'll just give you a quick reminder: is with the ordeal you went through, because you went through a meltdown of your mental, and how I dealt with it as an African parent. Was it good? That's the one. And if it was good, what advice would you give another African parent who could find themselves in the same situation?
Okay, so number one, I believe that what Niina as an African parent did for me at the time of my meltdown, I think it was the right decision, simply because I needed that seclusion from the rest of society, if you will. And I think because something like mental health, specifically depression/suicidal tendencies and attempts, it's something that you cannot just say, oh, we need to go to a deliverance service. Sometimes you need that seclusion away from the environment that put you into that state in the first place. And I think as an African parent, it completely subverts like almost every ideology of a typical African.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to say this, but the majority of Africans, how they would react to something like this, if they were Christian or Catholic, it would be severely difficult for the child to go through.
Yeah.
And because I was 13 at the time, that makes it all that more challenging, because you're only just reaching the stage of teenager-ish things, and you're just about hitting puberty and stuff. And the final thing that you want to hear is like, oh, you're crap. Or
you're possessed with a demon, maybe it's the way your parents have been living or something. That's the reason why you are behaving. No, that's not the reason why. What people fail to understand, we are very much, we are living in a society where every day these kids are not always with us 24 hours a day anymore, but the moment they start going to school, so there are things being said to them that we don't know. And sometimes she never used to speak. This is the reason why, because now she knows that they can now communication, for she used to hold things in, and the more she holds it in, but she wasn't holding it in because she couldn't speak. She was holding it in the fear that I will react. They know me, my child, you do, I will come where you are and I will speak. So she didn't want me to act. She didn't want me to go and start, I don't fight. I just talk. That's me.
She will talk a person into changing their mind.
Me, I will talk. And when I talk, the moment I leave, that will be it. You understand? So that will be it. So this is how it was. So yeah, so I think it is true. So now what, you've given the advice to the African parent. We're going to probably get you to come back when we talk more about mental health, because today is just on motherhood. So what advice would you give any African, motherhood? If you sat there, you heard what I was saying about, a mother command, it doesn't demand, and a motherhood is all to do with yourself first and everything. What did you have to give us? Because we've only got like 5 minutes left.
Ooh,
so
how do I sum this up in 5 minutes?
Well, you go 10 minutes. There you go.
10 minutes. Okay.
So let's go going. Let's get counting.
Okay, so one of the things that you mentioned earlier that I have on my phone here is the fact that a mother should be reflected through the children. Now, to me, that really hit home, because why I think this is important. The mother is the primary socialization of the young child. And if the mother is raising up that child like anyhow, then that child is going to grow up into an anyhow child that's just going to fall into just about every other temptation of this world and fall all the way deep down under. Now, examples of Niina being reflected through me / my other siblings. Now, I've given a few examples here. So one is my confidence. My confidence, particularly in different outfits of wear, especially like different colors. Now, up until the event that we had in Norwich, right?
Yes.
I would never, ever wear any super bright colors.
Yeah, that was with Caroline. Yes, the mental health event. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I was very, very shy. Like, number one, shy / observant. But also, I didn't want to wear any particular thing that kind of made me stand out. Now, when I say that, I don't mean as in like, oh, I want to wear super duper tight clothing or short
like
mini skirts or crop tops, because obviously
you've never worn those anyway.
Exactly. So, like, as a Christ-filled child, and obviously as my morals stand, I just don't do that sort of thing. Yeah. But I think through my mum through Nina experimenting.
I told her no mum on the show, so that's why. So go on.
Through seeing Nina experiment with different outfits, different makeup colors, different eyeshadows and things.
I'm just bright.
I kind of felt really inspired by that. So I think wearing a neon pink dress to the event. Yeah. I think
it was,
for me, it was a really huge step forward. Yeah. Because now I can kind of experiment with like all types of hairstyles, all types of clothing, and all types of shades and colors and things. Now, another example. Yeah. This is just a generalization of like all of my siblings and myself. So everyone has some sort of talent or ability for particular subjects that they are exceptional in academically. And through Nina, we've also learned not to make fun of or discriminate or put down anyone because they have something or they know something that
you don't.
They don't.
Yeah, that you know something they don't know. Yeah, you're and not like allowed. Vice versa. Yeah, so they're not allowed to laugh at the sibling. If anything, they should encourage each other on the week. You who know, teach the person who don't know. So yeah, go on.
Yeah, and I think that's important because one of the last things that you want in your children, I think, yes, it's good for mothers to be seen through the children, but at the same time, you don't want each and every single child to be a replica of each other. Like, you want each and every child to stand out in a different way. Yeah. Like, I can sing. Nikita's really good at sports. Raphael's really good at gymnastics. Yes. Emmanuel can sing, and he is exceptionally good at writing. Yeah. And Ariel, model to be at the young age of 2.
Yes, that one. So I think if we were to sum up this motherhood, what I wanted to use my home as a model for motherhood, because like I said, I will need permission to talk about other people that I know who are also, doing the same thing. Like what she just said, all my kids are reflections. I am reflected in them, but the beautiful thing about my kid is I've raised them independently. They're all very unique in their own way. I did not say like, oh, be like that or be like him. No, they are all who they are. So I have 5 individuals in my house who all reflect on me. So had that happen, honestly, I have 5 of me, but in different ways. So that's what I encourage. I don't encourage looking down at people, because it is beautiful when you look at it and how they're going to be, the kind of adult they're going to be when they grow up. It's going to be an amazing way of seeing that, because then you appreciate life, you appreciate uniqueness of people, which we don't do anymore because we expect everybody to be the same, and everybody needs to be going to university, everybody needs to be doing, we want people to be this thing that's like all the same. But what I say, no, everybody needs to be different. I admire your uniqueness in your singing, in your way. I admire Raphael's way of doing the acrobat gymnastic that he does. Emmanuel, he sings amazing. It's just, you just admire things differently. It's called creative, like you've heard it here in my show. It is not a woman or a man's world. It is a creative world. So because it's a creative world, that means there is a creator. And because there is a creator, I do not believe the creator created everybody to be the same. So let us raise our children individually. And the reason why most parents, I personally know, you do not raise your kids individually because you don't have the time. You don't have the time to observe each and every one of them when they are born. Say this one, because everything I've said about my kids is exactly who they are becoming. Because I know exactly that this one will be a model, will be a singer, will be everything that she's doing. I even know that when she will get married. I know. But you will ask, how is that possible? Simple. I gave birth to her. And then the person who gave her to me, which is God, I communicate with God every day, every step of the way. And God tells me how He wants me to move with each child. See, parenting is different to motherhood. Okay, but parenting is another subject which I'm going to touch on a different time. But today we spoke about motherhood. A mother is somebody who is whole within herself, who loves herself, who knows everything she is, and she's confident in herself, so that when she's now ready to start bringing children in this earth, she will multiply. What she multiplies, the multiplication that God asked us in the Bible was in children. The multiplication was of who we are, spirit being, the wholeness of who we are. We multiply it to every person we see. But most people think the multiplication was about giving birth to kids. No, the multiplication is about who you are as a spirit being. Multiply that to every being you see. That's the multiplication that we need to be doing, and we start it as a mother. We do. It's very important. So that's all I can say. Our show is coming into an end. So thank you guys for watching. Then I don't know where the time has gone, to be quite honest. Thank you guys for watching the Niina Kabesa live show. Today we touched on motherhood, and then next week we're gonna touch on childhood. We will see Nicole again, but we're gonna see two or three more amazing children here in the platform, and they're gonna speak, and we're gonna understand about childhood and so forth. So until then, I'm gonna leave you guys with my changes song, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
I was